Hey, Steve,
Yes, honey.
what's the most slippery country in the world?
I don't know what.
Greece.
Oh. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Engage, a family gaming podcast. This is episode 179, and I'm your host, Steven Dutzman. As always, this is the official video game and board game podcast for EngageFamilyGaming.com. EFG is a website where parents like myself and my co-hosts come together to make sure everyone has the information they need to get their family game on. This week is a very special week. It is our E3 predictions episode. This is a special time when I bring people who are not typically on the podcast to come and share their thoughts, feelings, and specifically predictions about E3. We're going to keep track of it this year on a awesome bulletin board, and the winner gets bragging rights. There are no cash prizes here because those would be taxable, and we don't want to do that. So you can't tax bragging rights, so that's how we're going to go. Last year's champion is joining us. His name is, he need not be mentioned, but because he is the man behind the curtain. John, how are you?
I'm a little sleepy from that Pokemon announcement.
Oh, man. Yeah, we just got
I've
done
been
watching
getting in shape for that all my life.
Yeah. We just got done watching the Pokemon press conference. Not to be confused with the Pokemon Direct for Sword and Shield. That's next week. This was literally all the other Pokemon junk they could think of. They opened with some Detective Pikachu stuff. Strong play, considering it's doing well in the box office. I saw it, and there's actually a review.
Same here.
Same here. There is a review up on the EFG Daily Commute, so if you want to hear my kids yelling about it in the car with me, that is that. And you may have heard a voice. That is a voice that you've probably never heard before, and that is our community manager, Jeff Walker. Sir, how are you?
I'm good.
Welcome to the show, finally.
I'm glad I could finally get on it.
Yeah.
Well, this is one episode you can guarantee that you'll be on every year because I try and bring on some other faces, and we know that you have thoughts, feelings, and opinions, and predictions, and so yeah, that's today's big topic. We're gonna basically, folks, we're gonna go around the room, although we're not in the same room. We're in fact in different states and time zones at that matter. But we are going to go around. Each of us will make a prediction, and we'll talk about it a little bit. This is the part, if you'll remember previous years, where I make a prediction, and John talks junk about it for a few minutes. He makes a prediction. I talk junk about it for a few minutes. We will probably call each other crazy a lot.
And I'll be right.
And then, unfortunately, because John is a weasel... and makes softball cheesy predictions.
Oh, mine aren't softball this year.
Okay, last year you predicted some softballs, and you counted them as home runs, and I was disappointed. You'll notice I called people out this year for their softball predictions. We are also going to be reading some predictions from one infinite co-host. That would be Michael Dutzman. He has sent us his predictions. And we will also be reading some predictions from the EFG community. If you are ever interested in joining that, head on over to EngageFamilyGaming.com/community. That is a community largely run by Jeff. Mm-hmm. So thank you very much for doing that for us, Jeff. So let's just get started. And speaking of Jeff, why don't you start us off with one of your predictions? Because I am curious to see... Well, I mean, I've already seen it in writing, but honestly, I forgot. So just tell us what you predicted.
My first prediction is that I think that Banjo-Kazooie is going to be announced as the next Smash DLC. And the reason behind that is that with Microsoft and Nintendo kind of playing nice with each other and Cuphead coming to Switch, I feel like that would be a good gateway for them to put Rare Replay on Switch.
Wow, so that's like a double whammy prediction. Okay.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
So Banjo-Kazooie, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. They've been putting a lot of collections on the Switch. So your prediction is two parts. You're predicting that Banjo-Kazooie will be the next Switch DLC. Let's talk about that first. John, do you think that's going to happen?
I think we're at a place where Microsoft and Nintendo are holding hands together for the first time. with Minecraft coming over and Xbox Live being an app that's going to be enabled on Switch sometime next year.
Yep.
There's no reason that Microsoft can't print money that way.
Yeah.
It's literally printing money because everyone that's ever played Banjo is going to go buy it. Anyone that has a Switch and has played Banjo is going to go buy it. So you get a 2 for right off the bat, because all you have to do is send over the property, the game assets for the game model for Banjo, and then
it's a little bit harder than
Smash. Yeah, but then he's in Smash, and then just have to port over Banjo-Kazooie to Switch, which is everybody's doing that now. So makes sense.
And also, I think with it being DLC, it's a lot easier for Microsoft to get a little more monetization out of that than if they were announced in the actual Ultimate lineup.
Well, also, Smash rules that you have to have a game on that system at one point or another to be in Smash. That's why they made a Persona game for Switch. That's why Joker's there.
I don't know if that's exactly why. I think you're making some bold ass statements there.
That's why Persona had to come out this year, so that Joker could be in Switch. Joker could be in Smash.
Though it's not the Persona game we all wanted.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, but whatever. Anybody that really wanted to play that game played it on PS4. Doesn't really need it on Switch. Okay, so here are my thoughts on that. I think that if they announced Banjo-Kazooie, I wouldn't be upset or surprised. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I have my own prediction about the next Smash DLC, and I'm not going to tip my hand on that. I'll go into that later. But I think Banjo would be fun, right? And man, Rare Replay, I have it. I played it on Xbox One. Here's the problem with Rare Replay. It's really not a lot of good games.
No.
Like, Rare has some bangers, but like the bulk of the Rare games that are good are not on Rare Replay. So they would need to do like a Rare Replay Plus that includes like the Donkey Kong Country games and like some of the other Rare games that were kind of left out. Mm-hmm. Now if they did that, that would be awesome. I just don't necessarily see that happening. I guess we'll find out. But I think that's a great start. Way to go, Jeff. First ever prediction on a video game podcast. We're getting you started. John, what is your first prediction?
My number one would be Microsoft releases its new hardware announcement, and then announces that Xbox Live will be bundled automatically with Game Pass, and it's going to cost way more money, and the internet is going to hate it.
That's a lot of prediction. The first part, if you had left it at Microsoft is announcing new hardware, I would have called that an OMG softball, just because they've already told us they're talking about the new hardware. So that's not really a prediction. That's more of a news analysis. But this piece about them bundling Xbox Live and Xbox Game Pass, I absolutely see that happening. It makes total sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, but it's going to cost too much money.
So how much is too much?
$100 a year.
That's $100 a year.
That's a steal.
Wait, hold on though.
Real people, but like
$100 a year is less than Game Pass is, though.
How much is Game Pass?
Game Pass is $10 a month.
It's $15 for the two of them bundled together right now per month, I believe.
Yeah, I think you can get them bundled together for $15. Now, there are people who think that is too expensive. Predicting that the internet will get angry is also a little bit of a softball, but I get it. But I think the real key is you're saying that they're going to be bundled automatically, meaning you will not be able to buy them separately.
Exactly. And
okay, I can actually get down with that.
Will upset the internet.
Well, because it's going to be a price hike on both of them, right? Yeah. Like if you make it, if they made it $100 a year for both, it would be a cut on Xbox Game Pass, but not a huge one, but an increase on I mean, but it's still, you would still be saving a lot on both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know I can't crunch those numbers, but I can absolutely see Microsoft saying no. We're, in the next gen, they're not going to be two different services. What about Jeff? What do you think? You think they're going to be two? Do you think that they're going to continue offering two different services when they could just put them under the same SKU and find a way to get a little bit more cashola?
No, and yeah, I don't think that they would want to make them two separate services anymore, just because with their with PlayStation Plus also as an option, and they just want to make sure that people are, playing those Microsoft games, and those Microsoft games are getting out there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm in. I think there's no way that they're going to leave them as two separate. So I think that is a pretty safe bet. I'm not calling it a softball, but I think it's a pretty safe bet because it makes sense to streamline it. You have just Xbox Gold or something like that, and then just you get Game Pass, you get Xbox Live, boom, the whole thing. I'm down with that.
There's many people I've heard that just get the Game Pass, so why? I mean, I think it would be in Xbox's best interest to just bundle in Xbox Live with that.
Yes, I agree, absolutely. All right, let me get my announcements or not announcements, my predictions out, because for some reason they are gone, and that really makes me upset. Okay, here's my first prediction. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is going to have Amiibo support. That is my prediction. I think there's going to be Amiibo support, and I actually believe that there will be a Marvel character with an Amiibo. I don't know which one, but I feel like there will be a Marvel character with an Amiibo announced during the Nintendo press conference.
How many different characters do you play as in that game?
Yo, there's so many right now.
You could play basically all the top.
I mean, I don't want to say all, but
it's not like the Lego games. I think they announced 20 to 30 right now.
They just released a video casually announcing, so Psylocke is a playable character. Okay? So, if Psylocke is a playable character.
Yeah. I get you.
Then they're not even really super worried about. But Psylocke isn't a playable character. Nightcrawler is a playable character. They showed off a paint. There's a painting on the wall that has Colossus and Cyclops, along with a whole bunch of other people who have already been confirmed as playable. So. It feels to me like that confirms Cyclops and Colossus. That also makes sense because Colossus is a heavy, and Cyclops. How do you include the X-Men without including Cyclops?
Mm-hmm. As long as they include Kitty Pryde, I'll be okay.
They probably won't, bro. I don't even know is she even in the comics anymore.
She's the leader of the X-Men right now.
The X-Men are so weird. That's largely because Cyclops got himself arrested and or killed, right?
Well,
Probably.
Cyclops died years ago, and Xavier's dead. She's running it in the middle of Central Park right now.
Yeah. Xavier's dead because Cyclops killed him. Spoiler alert, everybody, I guess.
Yeah.
For a 3-year-old comic series. Whatever, it's fine. So, that's my first prediction. Specifically, my prediction is that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 will have Amiibo support. I feel strongly that they will have a Marvel character Amiibo, but I'm not ready to predict that. But I do think that it's going to have Amiibo support. It makes super sense. Like a costume, or could you imagine Wolverine with a Mario hat on or something like that? It's totally the kind of crap that would happen in this game. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right. The Nintendo is out there with that kind of stuff.
And this is a Nintendo exclusive. That's the thing. Yeah. This is a Nintendo exclusive, so they don't have to worry about, what if we put it in, we make sure we got to take it out. Nope, this is it. And they put Amiibo support in Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Where you could dress Bayonetta up like Peach. So if they're going to do that, then Scarlet Witch can dress up like Peach. It's fine. So that is my first prediction. Jeff, what do you got for number 2? Wait, I have to do Michael's now. Yep. I'm going to pretend to be the infinite co-host. Okay. He actually predicted all of the remaining Smash characters. What I will do, to be fair to him, because they are all really bad predictions, I'm gonna say all of them, and if any one of them happens to be correct, you know what I mean? We'll give him
the point.
We'll give him 4 chances to get it right, because he really is just going all in on black. You know what I mean? Like he's just going for it. So here we go. His predictions for DLC characters. I can't even believe I'm reading these for Smash. 1, Sephiroth. Believe it or not, I actually think that might kind of...
Yeah,
of all of these, that's the one that is possible.
Exactly.
2, Captain America. 3, Rey from Star Wars. And lastly, Sora. So if I were to put these, I feel like there's 2 tiers. I feel like there's Sephiroth and Sora, who are actually possible. And then there's Captain America and Rey, which are, if Captain America is announced as DLC for Smash, I believe he wins, and it doesn't matter what the rest of us do.
Yeah.
Like, we just have to give him the win.
Yeah. Nintendo wins E3.
Okay, if Captain America is announced as Smash DLC, I will do a Facebook Live where I sing Jump Up Superstar.
Wait, see, my rule to Smash, he sideways gets it. Because
what?
Marvel versus what did you just announce? Marvel Ultimate Alliance, is Cap in there?
He is in there.
Then he sideways gets in there.
Because they could add him in there because of Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
Yep.
It's possible. And I just said it. Listen, if Captain America ends up as a Smash character, I will sing Jump Up Superstar on stream. We'll do it.
Rey is the most out there prediction.
Rey
Sora, if Kingdom Hearts comes to Switch, which I hope I own it on everything, but I still hope it does.
Me too. I mean, my daughter's name is Kyrie. I'd have to buy it.
Oh,
again.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to buy it 3 times.
Yeah.
Also, think about this. This is the thing that is worth mentioning. If you become a character in Smash, you get an amiibo, which means if there's a Sora amiibo, how many of those you got to buy, Jeff? Like 13?
1 for every member of my family.
Yeah.
And then an extra one that you can leave in the box. Okay, so that is the man behind the curtains prediction.
No,
he's
that's
predicting
the
extra
man
Smash
from
deals.
the north.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're the man behind the curtain. He is the infinite co-host. So, all right. So, Jeff, number 2, if you please.
All right. So last fall there was this Harry Potter game that was leaked. I was so mad because I was at work when it was leaked. So by the time I could get online that day, all the videos were taken down.
Yeah, they were. They got nuked from orbit because it was the only way they could be sure.
Yeah. So my next guess is that the new Harry Potter game is going to be revealed with a release date for 2020. I'm thinking September just because that's when Harry Potter goes to school.
I mean, that sounds reasonable. I do want to say one thing, though. The more specific your predictions get, the less likely you are to get it right. That's how Tomlinson does this. You got to be... I'm just giving you some strategy.
Yeah, you got to back away a little bit. You got to be like, well, it could be when Harry Potter got his letter.
With that said, let me tell you, if
Here's
that
my
game
insider
is...
on that, though. My insider on that is when I worked at Lego. That's when we announced the Lego Harry Potter castle.
When? On the day that he got his letter?
The day he got his letter. That was the video release
So
day where I got like...
July 31st, which is his birthday.
Yep. So it should be that like week.
I mean, I'm down. Listen, I'm down. So I watched that video several times, and I will tell you this much: if I get to play Harry Potter Skyrim, sure, right? Like that's basic. I mean, that's not basically what it was, but I mean, it was a kind of open world, very deep world building, because that's what Harry Potter's all about. I mean, that sounds awesome to me. And also the fact that it's so far in the past, because the word on the street was that it was going to be set like in the turn of the last century. That means that there's stuff going on that we, like it's not involved in any of these plots. It's not involved in any of the shenanigans. There's plenty of reason for it to not look exactly like it did in the movies, etc. I'm all in. I'm not exactly a Potterhead like you, Jeff, or like a lot of other folks, but I certainly enjoy that world. I just want them to be able to. I want it to be licensed through Warner Brothers, such that and connected enough to the movies that they use the soundtrack. Because that Harry Potter, like those chimes, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Like the Harry Potter theme, like I want that in a video game, real bad.
Yes,
so
that would be awesome.
I pray that you are right. I want to give you these points, Jeff. I want to play that freaking game. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I'm there with you. And you're talking about the regular game, not the AR game that's been confirmed.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the game that was leaked and then taken down.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. I'm all behind that.
Yeah, oh man, I'm so hyped for that. And it sounds like the timing is right. So Tomlinson, what is your next prediction?
Number 2, I think they're both going to be during the Nintendo Direct, but Ubisoft will announce Mario and Rabbids 2 and Starlink 2, which will be Switch exclusives.
I mean, Starlink 2 feels like a little early. I think Starlink 2 is definitely going to happen as a Switch exclusive with no Toys to Life components. It's just going to be a space shooting game. But I think it's a little early for that. But Mario plus Rabbids, that game was one of the best-selling Ubisoft games the year it came out. Like there is no reason that they would not make a sequel to that. So that sounds great. Dude, I have Starlink 2. We did that thing. We did that thing because eventually it got cheap enough. It was, you know what, that game was...
Got down to $20 for the Switch version. It was a no-brainer at that point.
It was worth it just for the R-Wing.
Yeah.
So, I think that game was just 5 years too late. Like, if that game came out in the middle of the Skylanders craze... which I'm still convinced Skylanders are coming back again, by the way. But that's not one of my predictions. I just have a feeling. But if it came out in the middle of it, that it would have been a big contender, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. So, you said Rabbids
2,
Kingdom Battle 2, and Starlink 2. You're a madman. But I like it. You're playing fast and loose. All right, so I'll go next. We will see. We will see the Avengers game during the Square Enix panel, and it will come out in 2020, or at least they will announce that it will come out in 2020. It will inevitably be delayed. But that's not so much of a prediction as a understanding of the way video games work. But Square Enix will 100% be announcing that, and they're going to give a 2020 release date. That's a softball, I think, but I'm going to take it anyway because I'm the judge of what is and is not a softball, and so it probably is one, but I'm going to not deem it one. I mean, we know they're definitely going to... I think the real key is we know they're going to bring the Avengers. If they don't, it's going to be a big problem on the internet. But I think 2020 is a safe bet. You know what? If they said it came out in 2019, I wouldn't be surprised either. But I think 2020 is a safer bet.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you guys think?
I think 2019, but I totally agree with you. They have to show it. They have to. It's been in the background for so long that it's time to go. It's time to show it finally.
It was announced before last year's E3, wasn't it?
It was announced years ago.
Years ago. That's
in like a weird teaser trailer in the middle of January. Now, for a sub-prediction, this is just a little inside bet between the three of us. Let's say they do show us who's the first Avenger that appears on screen in the trailer.
Tony.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or
that's fair too.
Iron
You think
Man or
that's-
Captain America.
No, you can't. There's only three choice. Well, here's the. For me, there's only three choices, right? It's got to be the big three: Tony, Iron Man, Captain America, or Thor. It's got. I mean, right?
I would say Iron Man, Captain America, or Spider-Man.
You think Spider-Man?
He's an Avenger.
If it was Spider-Man, though, I think it would have to be a Sony exclusive because they still technically own the rights to him.
Also, if we're gonna go that route, everyone has been an Avenger.
Well, true.
All right,
Squirrel Girl, there we go, my favorite.
Squirrel Girl, yes.
Squirrel Girl. All right, so let's talk about that for a sec. So, because this was my next question. So, all right, I actually think Iron Man is probably the first one we're going to see. I think that makes too much sense not to have him, unless they have like all three of them appear like all at once. But we know that if they're going to make an Avengers game, it's not just going to be one of the guys or one of the characters, right? It's going to be an ensemble type game. That just makes sense. Mm-hmm. I'm presuming that they're going to have. I mean, I don't, unless they're making like Avengers Ultimate Alliance style game, which would be fine by me. Who are going to be the primary women that they would include in the game? Because they got to include the big three, probably the Hulk. I agree with Jeff. They probably couldn't include Spider-Man. So, but if they include those three guys and maybe the Hulk, who are the women they're going to include? I mean, Black Widow.
I feel like Black Widow's the only choice. She's
a choice.
There's plenty of choices, but it depends on how big they want the playable roster to be. It's not going to be Marvel Ultimate Alliance. It's for sure not going to be like the Lego games.
True. Yeah. So you think they could get away with doing like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Black Widow?
See, that's what the public knows as the Avengers. Like, if you ask your mom who's the Avengers, you name those people.
Well, so my mom is a bad example, because if you ask my mom who's an Avenger, she'll say everyone.
Batman.
Because I've trained her to say everyone is an Avenger. No, not even Batman. She knows. My mom. Did I tell you guys the story of my mom and the Infinity Stones?
No.
Dude, listen. I think I told this story on
the podcast.
I told it on Geek Embassy Watches, which I don't know if either of you guys will listen to. We did the Avengers preview thing, and my mom, before Infinity War, wrote like on her cute little floral notepad that she uses for grocery shopping. She showed me the list, and it was like Space Stone, Soul Stone, ? Ask Steve. Power Stone, and so she spent a bunch of time figuring out where all the stones were. And then eventually she crossed out Steve and decided that the Soul Stone must have been in Wakanda. Which means she was reading some very deep fan theories, because there was a fan theory that the Soul Stone was going to be in Wakanda, and that's why all the fights were there. She is a complete dork now. She is all in. But anyway, all right. So that's enough about my number two prediction, and that will also be my last Marvel related prediction for the day. So what is Michael's next prediction? Let's see if we can squeeze one out of this kid that isn't bananas. Okay, so he's predicting that Square Enix wins E3. I don't even know what that means. Okay. So, now I understand his prediction. His prediction is either it's absolutely insane and they win, or they just announce a bunch of stuff for Final Fantasy XIV and everyone is mad. So he doesn't think Square Enix is going to produce an average, reasonable press conference. He thinks they're either going to be like the most dominant force in the universe, or it's going to be a flop. What do you guys think? Do you think it's possible that Square Enix lays a goose egg on this one? Like, can they lay an egg coming in with Avengers possibly Kingdom Hearts DLC, Final Fantasy VII remix, or remake rather, although they'll probably call it a remix. Let's be honest. Look at what they did to Kingdom Hearts.
Remix, Final Quest, plus, negative.
Final Fantasy VII, 28 over 3, whatever, I don't know. Final chapter prologue. Y'all are laughing, but you know that it's possible.
We know that's what hurts the most. Have you even beaten Kingdom Hearts 3 yet?
No, because I have so many other games.
I know.
So I just started playing it again this week.
What I need to do is what I really need to do is just take a weekend off and just
do it.
And just do it. The problem is I'm so old and I fall asleep so easily. And
Me
the problem
too.
is that the gameplay loop is not compelling. I mean,
Nope.
we don't have to talk about it. It's a super fun game, but like the gameplay loop is not compelling anymore because like I did that 57 times already.
Yeah.
It's a PS2 game that looks really pretty.
Yeah.
Like I love the characters and I love the idea of it, but the act of playing the game it just makes me seepy. Like I want them to make Kingdom Hearts. I mean,
it's a job. It's a job. That's the problem.
It makes me feel like I'm working.
Yeah.
So that is Michael's prediction. He feels like they're either going to be king of the world or they're going to flop. I think it's perfectly possible for them to do something very average and make us not care. You know, like here's a bunch of information about Final Fantasy VII Remake that we already told you about. Oh, and here's the Avengers game that is just kind of meh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they could just announce the Avengers with logo too. So.
Oh, they absolutely could. You're absolutely right. I feel like they need to give at least a little bit of a teaser, but you're right. They could just show a logo. If they gave us like a release date and it's not a release date, but like a 2020 with a logo and maybe just a splash screen, with the playable characters flying across the screen, I think that would be enough to get some hype. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake will carry them pretty much anywhere they want. So, all right. So, Jeff, back to you. Prediction number 3.
So, my third prediction was I was kind of predicting Nintendo's fall. You'll notice for most of my predictions, I am kind of a Nintendo guy, so most of my predictions came from there. So, I predicted that Link's Awakening is going to come out in September, along with Luigi's Mansion in October, Pokemon November. I felt like that was the dead giveaway. They're always November. The weekend before Black Friday is when Pokemon always comes out.
Yep.
And then Animal Crossing in December. And the reason I put them in that order was I just thought with the November and December games always being so close together, Animal Crossing was a good game to throw in there that you could play leisurely while you're still trying to grind out Pokemon.
I could get down with all of that.
See, I think Link in August and Animal Crossing in September.
I mean, listen, this is one of those I didn't even think to try and predict that because Nintendo could come out and just delay Animal Crossing into next year and not give a crap.
I mean, I wouldn't care that much either. I'm not a Animal Crossing.
I would care. My daughter, if she finds out that there is no Animal Crossing this year, Meggie will walk
go nuclear.
She will walk to freaking the Nintendo
Japan.
headquarters.
Yeah.
She'll walk to. There's one in Washington State. She'll be fine. She will walk there and just start RKOs everywhere. It's just RKOs for everyone. The entire treehouse RKOs from a 6-year-old that looks like a Gelfling. It's just maybe a stunner for good measure. Because she would want to mix it up a little bit, even though it's not really mixing it up a bit. But I think they absolutely could delay it out of next year. And still, this year is just a baller. You know? Like, if you think about starting next month, Super Mario Maker 2, and sometime around there, Mario Kart on mobile. And then
Marvel Ultimate Alliance
Marvel
3.
Ultimate Alliance 3.
Fire
and then
Emblem.
Fire Emblem. And then that's the end of the ones that we know.
Isn't Astral Chain August?
Oh, and then Astral Chain is a little bit after that. So that's in a span of 3 months, 4 games that are Nintendo exclusives. Then we fast forward, Luigi's Mansion 3 is coming this year. Link's Awakening is coming this year. So, and then we know Pokemon. If that was all that was coming, let's just be real. If they had never mentioned Animal Crossing, and we just knew that those were the things that were coming, we'd have been like, you know what, this end of this year is going to be pretty okay. Right?
Yep.
But that's not what they said. Because they said Animal Crossing. And who knows, they could announce some other crazy stuff. Predicting Nintendo's fall lineup is a bold move. We'll see how it pays off for you.
Yeah.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Bold strategy. Tomlinson, what is your prediction numero tres?
So my number 3 is basically what Jeff said, but a little bit different. Metroid 2020.
You are stoned.
No,
You are
no,
absolutely
Dave.
stoned.
You
are
said that
stoned.
the same time that we got the logo 2 years ago. You were just like, you're out of your mind. No Metroid Prime
There is
4.
no way that they...
No way. And I was right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right.
And you know what? I ate crow then.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not... This is the easiest thing for me to ever say. You are absolutely stoned. They might show it again, but they're definitely not going to say it's coming in 2020.
You're saying?
No way.
We're getting gameplay.
You're going to be there at John's house.
At 2020.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's no way. No way. If, you know what, I will also sing Jump Up Superstar on stream if they announce a 2020 release date.
So the rest of this are my Nintendo launch date predictions. Animal Crossing will be called Wild City.
I like that.
Right? And it'll come out in September. And then Luigi's Mansion October.
Okay. I think Luigi's Mansion in October is just such a cute...
Yeah, it's just perfect.
I think it works.
I was listening to another podcast, and they made the note that they could drop it even sooner because in Japan, the typical day to watch scary movies in Japan is during the summer.
Yeah.
You know what? Would it surprise anyone if they announced it as a non-$60 title and just released it right now? I mean,
maybe if it was a remaster.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be the case because it's a retail release, so they're gonna want the boxes in stores.
Oh, is it a retail release?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, never mind. All right, so I'll go next. My prediction is that I know Microsoft is going to announce the new hardware. They've already told us. I think the new Xbox will be released before next summer. So I think spring, something like that. To be specific, summer starts on June 21st. So I will believe that it will be before June 21st of next year, and that there will be 2 SKUs of the Xbox, whatever the hell the new thing is. I'm not going to try and guess on the name because Microsoft, real dumb about naming stuff.
So what do you think the difference between the two is?
I mean, I think one of them is going to be, it's going to be kind of like what they are now, like the S and the X. There's going to be one that's going to be just a studly, heavy duty with an SSD and all that jazz. And I think there's going to be a more budget conscious one with a smaller that will have a bigger hard drive, but it'll be focused more on like streaming and downloading games, probably without a disk drive because that's their new hotness.
And actually be at a good price point.
I think that I see where you're going. I think that the X1S all digital edition, I think that price point sucks now. But I think if they keep the price difference, they said I think the real key with that announcement is that they were going to keep the price difference the same moving forward. And that means eventually they're going to be eventually a couple of price drops from now, the Xbox One S is going to be $200, which means at that point the Xbox One all digital edition will be $150. And we know, and I think this is absolutely going to be true. I think a lot of the sales for the Xbox are going to come after the generation is over. PlayStation players buying cheap Xboxes so they can go play like Master Chief Collection and some of those other games, because if you already have a membership with Xbox Live and Xbox Game Pass, you buy this $150 box, you already have that one membership, you get access to all those other games, you put in a different, that type of thing. I know I think it just makes, I think that they are preparing for a few years down the road. But anyway, that's not really part of the prediction.
But yeah, but just real quick going off of that, I see where you're coming from, because when they announced the all digital edition, I was one of the people saying, if it's $200 or less, I'm buying one just for Game Pass alone, because I own a Switch, I own a PS4, I do not own an Xbox One.
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be a million guys just like you who are like, you know what, I'd love the Xbox exclusives, I'll buy an Xbox One for $150, $200 just for Game Pass. Okay, so that's my thought. What do you think? What do you think, John? You think I'm crazy?
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think one's going to be all digital. One will be the SSD, like PS4 Pro style.
Yeah.
Like super duper one. I hope they put the right people behind this, because I think with what they did with the original what was it, the S, not the Scorpion. The Scorpion was the pimped out one, right?
Well, the Scorpion was just the Scorpio was the nickname for the Xbox One. That was its code name, the Scorpio.
Yeah, but was it Scorpion? Was like not Scorpion. I don't remember, but in PS4 terms, I just want to make sure that they don't put like an HDR one out there that's just like the budget one with no hard drive, no nothing, and then like this super duper like PC gamer type one that has all the bells and whistles and costs like $200 more. And they price themselves out of the game, because that's what they did with when they did their iterations. That's why the PS4 Pro is still more popular.
Yeah. I mean, I think a big part of the PS4 being more popular is there are a fair number of people that have disposable income, already were in on the PS4 ecosystem, and saw an opportunity to spend a little bit of money to upgrade. Yeah. I really do think a lot of people, like, I don't think there are that many people buying PS4 Pros that are new. My gut reaction is there's a lot of people that are upgrading. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. Michael's next prediction. This one is spicy, and I desperately want it to happen. And I think it actually has a shot. Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lion and Final Fantasy Tactics Advance remastered for the Switch. I think those would be amazing. I am stunned that War of the Lion was not announced when they announced all those Final Fantasy games coming to the Switch and the PS4 and Xbox One. War of the Lion was already remastered and put on iPad. If it can run on an iPad, it can run on all these systems. And Tactics Advance, that's a bit of a stretch. But I also think that one would be kind of cool too. What do you guys think? Are you guys Final Fantasy Tactics dudes?
I'm not a Tactics guy.
The only one I've played was the DS one, which I think was Final Fantasy Tactics A2.
Yeah.
Something about a Grimoires of the Drift or something like that.
Yeah.
You'll
notice he didn't talk about that one.
So that's my only... Because when Final Fantasy Tactics came out, I was a little young for RPGs. I didn't get them at the time. So,
John, we hate this guy now. I was a little young for Final. All right, great.
My first RP. What?
How old are you?
30.
Yeah, 30.
Oh, Jesus. He's such a baby. He's such a baby.
So I would have been like,
Is he old enough to be on this podcast?
Yeah, I mean, he technically has a child, so
Oh, okay.
I bring the youth to our team.
he brings the youth. He brings the youth to the team. Well, Teala actually brings the youth to the team. She is even younger than you. So, all right. So that's Michael's shenanigans. Honestly, so far, that's his best prediction.
I would love to see like a collection of the tactics, but I also want, and this was in my deep cuts predictions, a full-on like remaster of FF 1 through 9, like as one game.
You mean like one collection? Because
Yeah,
they're very...
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we saw rumors of that like 2 years ago, and then they just disappeared. And there was so much hype in my heart, like in my actual heart for that.
Well, the
That's,
reason
like,
they didn't do that
all
is
of that.
the reason they didn't do that is because they knew that they could just charge us $25 a piece for them. I would love
or on Switch.
Yeah. I would love a like a true like remake of Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah.
Like not just like a remaster, not like an up-res, not like a replace all the sprites. I'm talking like just make it new but keep some of the basic ideas the same. I would be so down for that. All right.
That would be good because that game is just really hard to go back to looking at it in a modern eye.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so archaic. All right, Jeff. Prediction numero cuatro.
All right, my fourth prediction is SNES games are going to come to Nintendo Switch Online.
I like
That that's a softball.
That is my softball prediction.
I don't think that's a softball. If you think it's a softball, that means you are giving Nintendo credit for something. I don't think that's a softball. I would honestly...
Reggie has said that SNES games are coming. So
Reggie don't work there no more.
No, before he
Oh.
quit.
All right. Listen, you know what? If they come, that sounds great to me. But I don't know that it's... I'm giving you credit. I don't think it's a softball. Because I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's a softball I support.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I support it. Listen, I have a Switch Online account. I would certainly play some SNES games. Okay.
You do have
Thomas.
a caveat, Joe. Jeff, you say that there's a price increase coming.
I did put in parentheses that it might come with a possible price increase for the tier because
I don't think there's a price increase. I think they're coming and there won't be a price increase.
I don't think Nintendo can afford to raise that price because the service sucks.
Yeah.
that could be it too.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people are pissed right now that they pay for online and, you know, they don't get to play cooperatively. They don't get to play online like Super Mario Maker 2 with friends or whatever.
Yeah, and that was the most, you could patch that. You have all the time in the world right now.
Yeah, their reasoning
Game's gold.
their reasoning behind it was that it would mess up the online leaderboards because people would be able to work together.
Then make 2 different leaderboards.
That's what I thought.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. So, Mr. Tomlinson.
All right. So
what's your next one?
this is mine, and I'm gonna call myself out for it being a softball. That Final Fantasy VII Chapter 1 will be announced for January because it's still registered as a chapter game.
Yeah, I mean not only is it registered, they've specifically confirmed it. I think January is an aggressive date, but I like it. I like the cut of your jib. I don't think that's a softball.
It's the same team from Kingdom Hearts 3, and that team pushed for January, so I think that's gonna be that team's release date.
Yeah, they announced it in 2 parts.
They didn't say 2. They just said it's coming in parts.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that it's probably going to come in 4. I think it's going to come in 4 parts. And they can charge $29.99 for each one.
See, I read an article that they've announced that they'll charge $60 for each game because each one's supposed to be a full game.
I don't know about that. That's a little much.
Yeah, it is.
The most recent report I read was from Eurogamer, and they just said they were confirming the that it was episodic.
Okay.
Listen, if they charge $60, then there are 3 chapters or whatever. Nerds are still going to buy it. I'm going to buy it even though I'm not a huge Final Fantasy VII fan. I just have to. And they'll be mad, but they'll do it anyway. It'll be the most ineffective boycott ever. They'll be mad, but then they'll be like, "Welp, gotta do it anyway."
My goal is to play the original on Switch before the new one comes out, because I've never played the original.
Well, you gotta get to work.
Yeah.
You gotta get to work, because according to John, you got until January. The good news is
exactly.
it's not that long of a game.
Yeah, it's not.
Plus, they have all the cheats and stuff.
Yeah, you have books on books right now.
Yeah, books on books on books. All right, so numero cuatro from me. I made my own Smash character prediction. I believe that the new Smash character is going to be Erdrick from Dragon Quest. And he will be available on June 9th, 10th. Which day is whatever day the Nintendo conference is.
The
they're going to
Tuesday
say
of E3.
he is announced today. Day 1 of E3. He is available today. That is my prediction. Anyone care to argue with me on that?
I mean, they've leaked. That's been the rumor since Joker was announced that he was going to be the next one. So I see it's very plausible. I just don't care about him, so I wanted to go with another prediction.
Listen, don't hate, okay? Don't hate. All right, so I have another prediction from Michael. The Secret of Evermore remaster trailer. So they're going to show a trailer for a remaster to Secret of Evermore. Either you guys familiar with Secret of Evermore?
Yes.
So
my great grandma had it on her Super Nintendo, and I would play it.
Jesus, I feel so old. Secret of Evermore, Tomlinson, is a Secret of Mana style action role playing game. That instead of having a whole party, you have a dog that follows you around, but you travel through different time periods, and the dog is always different, and you go into the future, and the dog is like a toaster with eyeball lasers. It's a very goofy game. He says that it's kind of got a Stranger Things vibe. I don't know that that's necessarily the case, but I see what he's getting at. So that is...
Mother would be a Stranger Things game.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Okay, back to you, Jeff. What is your last prediction?
My last prediction goes off of what John was saying, but mine is that Final Fantasy VII does not get an actual release date, and it just will say 2020.
All right. Okay.
My reasoning behind this is Square has been burnt kind of on their last 2 games, getting moved back, and I'm looking at Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3, and they kept getting delayed and delayed that I feel like they might want to play it smart and just not put an actual release date to get people's hopes up.
Yep. Yeah, no, they're not going to put out a release date until they need to on these things. I actually agree with that 1,000,000%. John, what is your final prediction?
See, this is outside my wheelhouse, but we're getting a new Plants vs. Zombies. I don't know if it's modern Garden Warfare or a new grid style, but we're getting a new game.
I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I would love Por qué no los dos? Why not both? I think it is perfectly timed for Plants vs. Zombies 3 and Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 3. Let's just do it. Here's my real thing. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare Battle Royale.
Yeah, that's
it would fit.
That's
Could you
what
imagine
they need
just
to do
100
next.
pea shooters? 50 pea shooters versus 50 zombies.
With no voice chat.
Sounds awesome. I would do it.
Yeah.
The game modes just kind of it's perfect. It's just the whole just lampooning on that whole model. It just makes perfect sense with that particular game. the Garden Warfare game.
Absolutely.
All right, so my final prediction. Dun, 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 dun. Microsoft is going to reveal officially Minecraft Dungeons during their press conference, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Microsoft press conference is going to be 2 hours long. Speaking as someone who has to cover that, you're going to be there. You're going to be there in the trenches with me, Tomlinson. You're going to know.
I know. We're going to be
like,
drinking
okay.
a lot of coffee during that one.
Yeah. Oh my God, we're going to be so
sitting
tired.
there.
Yeah. So, so they're going to reveal Minecraft Dungeons, and I believe that they're going to have an open beta before the end of 2019. So they got to try that thing out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably, definitely crossplay at the very least between PC and Xbox One, but you know, if they put the game out on Switch, it'll have crossplay there also. And then lastly, the 5th prediction from Michael. He believes that they're going to announce this. He believes that they're going to announce a new Star Fox game with that includes, and they're going to make the Starlink characters canonical within the Star Fox universe.
Yeah.
I honestly, that's in the LARP world, Jeff, we would call that a counter scoop, where you just decide, nope, that person is on my team. You may not have them.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, you made these cool characters. They're going to die otherwise. Let's just make them part of Star Fox. And they're part of Star Fox again. It would not surprise me in the least bit because, as I said, coming out of E3, Starlink is the best Star Fox game ever made.
Yeah. And that was everybody's, review was just like, it's Star Fox. And then the Star Fox game came.
I didn't even go so far as to say that it was just Star Fox. It's the best Star Fox game ever made. Yeah. It is better than every other Star Fox. Oh, yeah. Which is so anyway, so that's his prediction that they're going to make the Starlink characters canonical within the Star Fox universe and announce a new game in that franchise. So that's our predictions. Guys, I think we did pretty okay. We got 2 more contenders coming in hot tomorrow in Teala and Amanda. So the ladies are going to come and fight. But why don't we go with some of the community members? We're not going to be keeping score for them. However, we did get some predictions. So let's just go through some of them. So EFG superfan Jay Goldthwait predicted an iPad version of Magic Arena. I think that makes 1,000,000% sense. I mean, it's in. Yeah. I think that has to wait until it's out of beta. But I'm sure that they've got some dudes working on it. Like, why would they not be? You know what I mean? So I think he's moving in the right direction. James Pisano, our boy, who will be at the E3 compound for our E3 content summit. Not family friendly, but he's predicting that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to get delayed, to hell and back. I think that is very likely.
But there's a playable demo there at the.
Yeah, there will be. I still think they're going to delay it, but
it's coming soon.
It'll be here by year 2077.
All right. So yeah, that is true. That is true. Our boy Michael Melkonian, a relatively new EFG fan. He found us because we talked about his upcoming board game. He had a bunch, so we'll just go with this. Says that he says that Capcom is going to be somewhere announcing a new Dino Crisis. Whether that be a new game or a remake, he's not sure. He's saying that Square Enix is going to announce Octopath Traveler 2. I think that is possible.
That's on my extended list.
I think Octopath Traveler 2 is a given. It's just a matter, do they announce it this year or next? Quietly, I think it's possible they might announce a new Bravely Default game. I'm not even going to put this Half-Life 3 nonsense into the universe. Come on, guys. And we're going to get an update on Beyond Good and Evil 2. Of course we're going to get an update on Beyond Good and Evil 2, but it's not going to have anything to do about when we're going to play it. Jay Goldthwait, EFG superfan, also says that Halo Infinite will get a release date and a demo. Release date, yes. Demo, I don't think so. But release date, yeah. They're going to tell us when this is coming out. What do you guys think?
I think we're getting a release date.
Yeah, I think so. I can't wait to see what Halo Infinite's going to be like.
Because I also think we're going to get a date for Gears of War.
Gears 5, man. How crazy is that? We're going to be playing Gears 5. John Roble also going to be at the EFG compound. In fact, his house is the EFG compound this year. He says that Sony will somehow steal the show without actually being there. Considering Death Stranding is being announced in 2 days. So by the time you're listening to this, Death Stranding is going to have all sorts of information about, so that's one salvo that Sony doesn't really have. But, I think we can all agree, it is definitely possible for Sony to steal the show without being there.
What if they just release Death Stranding in 2 days, and it's all we could talk about at E3? So many the internet is talking about it so much that no one could look at anything at E3.
Listen.
It's the game that explodes everybody's minds.
I am not even... You know what? They could release a playable teaser.
Yeah.
They've done it once. Let's see here. What do we got for some other people? All right, Mike Melkonian, the softballist of softball predictions, that they're going to reveal Tifa for Final Fantasy VII Remake. I mean, duh. Right?
Yeah. How do you reveal a major character in a game?
I mean, they're just
gonna
gonna have her show up and punch a dude because that's her thing. Yeah. I wonder how, as a character, I think the reason they haven't shown us yet is that they are trying to make the character look right for 2019.
Yeah,
because Tifa,
yeah. Well, she's a Final Fantasy character, and anime BS is how she's dressed, and it's become nothing but a problem since she was a bunch of pixels and now is going to be a full.
Yeah, I mean, when she was a bunch of pixels and polygons, it was irrelevant.
Yeah,
because it really was. But then once we realized what the character model was, then it's ooh.
Yeah.
So that's going to be super interesting to see how that all plays out. But I agree. You got to show us Tifa. Got to show her to us eventually. The question is she going to wear a whole shirt and maybe whole pants? I don't know. Probably not whole pants, but I'm guessing that her shirt is going to be a full shirt. Although, if you looked at Sydney from Final Fantasy 15, maybe not.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We're in the U.S. We're a bit more progressive with that sort of thing, but it's being developed over in Japan, so who knows?
It's true. All right, folks. So that's the predictions from our friends in the community. I did ask the general if she had any predictions. She did in the car today, and she did say, and this is a direct quote, "Unfortunately, I think they're gonna announce more information about Metroid Prime."
I love her.
Because you guys know, longtime listeners know, the general, if you were to ask her what her least favorite game on Earth is, it is Metroid Prime.
Yep.
And she hates it because she knows that we're going to buy it.
Yep.
And that there will be many people playing it. The only solace she takes is that on the Switch, she can tell us to take it out of the dock and play it with headphones.
Yep.
I suspect that game will be played in headphones a lot. So, folks, we're going to share this into the community. And I'd love to hear your predictions or your thoughts on our predictions. Do you have a prediction about who will win out of all of us? Interesting to hear that. We'll love to hear your thoughts. So, Jeff and John, thank you very much for joining me today.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
So, everyone, Thank you very much for listening to episode 179 of Engage, a Family Gaming Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as we enjoyed recording it. So, I do have one favor to ask. It's almost E3 time. And so that is when we're going to be producing a whole lot of content. So my request is, like our Facebook page. Like it, and once you've liked it, go back, find a bunch of the posts on that page, and do reactions to as many of them as you can. That'll trick the algorithm so you actually see our stuff. Trust me, it works. Because we're going to be posting a lot of great stuff. John, what have we talked about already? We're going to do a whole bunch of videos. We're going to do a whole bunch of podcasts. We're going to do a whole bunch of just straight social posts. A lot of our just honest-to-goodness news is going to be reported through our various social channels. We're going to be doing, just so much stuff.
Live reactions.
So you're going to want to be, excuse me, you're going to want to be on that Facebook page, checking it all out. So that you can see what the craziness is. Also, we're getting close to 2,000 likes on the Facebook page, and that's our goal. We want to get there during E3, so certainly help us. Right now, as we record this, we're at 1685, which, believe it or not, guys, that's actually pretty good. So, until next time, this is Steven, and John, and Jeff, and we want to remind you, don't forget to get your family game on. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
This week on the EFG show, I am joined by the Princess of Power, Amanda Farrow, permanent co-host of the Engage Family Gaming Podcast, for the last 20 episodes or so.
I think so.
And this week it's E3 predictions week. So the reason you're on the EFG show, which is normally just a solo affair, is it's E3 predictions. Last night I recorded the E3 predictions with myself, with John, the man behind the curtain, and also Jeff, our community manager. And the agreement was that you were going to come on the EFG show today, and it would be fine because you would just give your predictions. Until E3 decided to ruin everything by, during the work day, sending you everything that's happening because you work in mainstream press. Congratulations.
Who knew? I didn't even know I worked in mainstream press.
I did because you work for a major website. You've appeared on Kind of Funny Games Daily. You have written you ran Mike. You've done some things, you know what I mean?
I've been around.
I am the one that would be surprised to be growing in importance, but really that's just because I'm riding the back of your magic carpet. Also I've been doing this for too long, and I have a cool hat. That's just pretty much. So
I wish I had that hat.
I have one. I will give you a hat. Yeah, when I see you next, I will give you a hat. So you can't give your own predictions because there are not. We talked about this before we went on the air, folks. We tried to say, Amanda, are there 5 things that you think will happen that you don't know about? And 2 problems with that. 1, no, not really. And 2, even if she made stuff up that turned out to be correct, people would assume that she was doing something nefarious. And there's no nefarious activity here. We're just a bunch of dorks. So
look at my face.
You're too innocent.
Can't be nefarious.
You can't be nefarious. Unless you're playing vampire, at which point you're by default nefarious.
Always nefarious there. I'm a Malkavian.
So you're a bunny Malk, aren't you?
Maybe.
I believe you are. You didn't think I knew that reference, did you?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see that one coming. So, my gaming is wide. It may not be deep, but that river is wide for me. You got to be ready for stuff. So, I'll tell you about my one time playing vampire another time. But we do have a solution, though. Teala, one of our other podcast co-hosts, is she couldn't make it because she works in the pool industry, and I don't know if y'all know, it's hot, and the pool industry is hopping. So she's working until 9 o'clock every night. She runs a store somewhere in Connecticut. I don't know. So, but here's what she did. She sent us the predictions, and Amanda and Teala are going to team up. this year.
Team Princess of Power.
The Team Princesses of Power. Basically, Amanda is going to present them very clearly, not her own predictions. I want to make this very clear to anyone listening. These are not her own predictions, but she's going to represent them, defend them in a court of law, and then we will score her and Teala together. And then next year, we're going to make Amanda do her predictions in March.
Yeah, in like February or March,
when
long
there
before
is,
I know anything.
When there is no chance.
Pre-GDC. That's what we need to do.
Oh, that sounds even better. Well, that's February. February and March gets us there, right?
Yeah, it does.
So then we'll make sure that it's fine. We'll make you do next year's E3 predictions in 3 weeks. So post this E3, then you can predict next year.
Not enough information.
Whatever. You have future sight. And then once we're done with that, we're going to talk about Pokemon, because Pokemon was weird. They did a press conference last night. It was about, I was expecting Pokemon cards and some mobile apps, and boy, oh boy, did they tell us about some mobile apps. So,
Thing, wasn't it?
It was so weird. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I was expecting to, I don't even know. I'm going to get one of them shirts, though. GDC is the game, we got a question from the audience. GDC is the Game Developers Conference. This is it's a convention. It's a conference. We'll call it a conference because that's on the nose. That's what they call it. Basically, it started very small. Back in the day, it was a way for game developers to come together and talk about their craft, learn new things, network, get new jobs on the down low or not so much on the down low, pitch to publishers, pitch tech, etc. But in the recent years, some companies and some, independent developers who maybe don't have a publisher, et cetera, have found this is a great opportunity to kind of spread the message of their games and kind of build a little bit of hype. And so every year out of GDC, there's like a couple of gems that just really nail it. Unless you write about business, at which point you basically don't sleep because everything there is B2B. There's a lot of companies there that make a big deal that they do middleware. So they're the ones that help make headsets work with consoles and cross-play work. I don't know if that would be a big deal recently. And so Amanda, running GameDaily.biz, subtle plug, basically doesn't get to sleep during DDC, whereas some other people go there, play a couple demos, drink with some game dev friends they have, and then go home. You have to work.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Those are 12 to 14-hour days for me.
Yeah,
on them at GDC.
So
I cannot even.
We got to make sure to get you to do your E3 predictions before that, because that's when they start telling you about who's going to be.
That's when they start telling me things. They start laying out roadmaps sometimes, and it's all embargoed information, which means I can't share it anyway. But I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm like, I cannot talk about anything until August. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so we'll fix it. It'll be fine. We'll get you covered. So
we'll do it.
Amanda / Teala, Team Princess of Power. What is Teala's first prediction for E3 this year?
Teala's first prediction for E3 this year is that we will get an actual for realsies date for Animal Crossing for Switch.
Okay, so now this is where you have to go stone-faced. I think that's probably true. We talked about this on the show last night that will be airing on Friday. I think that is as likely as it is not. I mean, the fact that there's a Pokemon Direct coming in a couple of days, like an actual one.
Yes.
Not like whatever weirdness we're going to talk about later,
that was
but
the Pokemon press conference.
Yeah.
That was
Now that there's going to be a Pokemon Direct, and they already did the Focus Direct for Super Mario Maker 2. It might show us some trailers for those two things during whatever Nintendo's presentation is, but other than that, we have no idea. So they're going to show us 45 minutes of something, and they haven't said much about Animal Crossing yet this year. So it feels to me, if I were a betting man, I would bet that at least a few of those minutes would be dedicated to Animal Crossing. Could be wrong. I mean, it could be, Star Fox for all we know, but I think Animal Crossing feels like a safe bet. That's my opinion. Okay. We had a couple other Animal Crossing predictions, so it'll be interesting to get into the minutia. So she's thinking we're going to get a date. Yes. So I'm going to declare, because I am the arbiter, also a competitor, which is unfair, but I am a just god. She gets half points. If Animal Crossing appears, but they show no date, I'm still going to give her a half a point.
That's fair.
Because, that's rough. If they're like, oh, It's coming out
LOL.
later this year, which is totally a Nintendo thing to do.
Oh, it's 100% a Nintendo thing to do.
Then that's fine. Okay, so what is Team Princess of Power / Teala specifically? What's her second prediction?
So, Teala's second prediction is that there is going to be either a new Kirby game or a new Sonic game because of all of the movie hype.
Sure.
But the movie has been pushed back to 2020. Has been pushed back to like
February
of 2020. So it's a 3-month delay.
Not to take a segue, but that's what, or not a segue, a sidebar, because that's what I do. Go figure.
That's
You've
what
met
we
me.
do.
How happy am I? How awesome is it that they actually delayed that movie?
That movie needed to be delayed so
they
badly.
100% could have just put that movie out and then just overworked their staff. But now, not only are they not going to get overworked, but also like a lot of their a lot of those animators are contract positions, which means some of them they actually like will have jobs through the holidays.
Yep.
And I know
It's
that
pretty
sounds not like a big deal, but I think that's important for it. I bet you a handful of them that's going to make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
So props to the people making the Sonic movie. I don't think we just had a Kirby game.
Yeah.
So I don't think
we had Kirby Star Allies.
Yep.
Right, and that was
like March of this year, right?
Was that this year?
Was it this year? Maggie.
It might have been last year.
Maggie, when did we buy you Kirby? Was it this year or last year? When did we buy you Kirby? Was it this year or last year?
Oh, Dad, don't you understand? Time is a flat circle.
Huh? She doesn't remember. You know what?
I think it was last year.
I think so too. I just want to say she remembers some amazing facts.
Kids are amazing.
Yeah. Miranda with some comments coming in about the Animal Crossing thing. She says she hopes so, but Nintendo sometimes chooses weird times to announce things.
It's true.
They do whatever the hell they want. It's Nintendo.
Nintendo
They
is
literally
perpetually
do.
iconoclastic.
They just do their own thing. That's why we have a Switch. That's why we had the Wii. They also just announce games weird. Speaking of weird, we'll talk about that later. Now Sonic is interesting to me. Because I don't think a Kirby game is going to happen because we just had one of those. Even if it was last year, that was still relatively recent.
Yeah.
You can't just make those happen unless they do a port of that claymation one from the Wii U, which I guess is possible. But that feels remember what was it called? Kirby and the something. It was the one that was like clay. It looked like clay.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I remember.
They could do like if they announced a port of that, I wouldn't be surprised because again, everything from the Wii U will eventually get a deluxe edition on the Switch.
Yeah,
eventually, it just might be: are they bringing that out now? Or are they going to bring it out in 2-3 years? Like I'm sure someone is working on it. It might be just one dude who's like on timeout porting a Kirby game. Probably not one guy. That's rude, but you know what I mean. There's probably like a few people that are on punishment. They broke the coffee maker, so they have to port a Kirby game. That's like that's how hazing works.
That's
in
how
Nintendo.
hazing works in Nintendo.
That's how I like to think of it. That's my headcanon, is that like when you're in trouble, you have to port a Kirby game. So, but Sonic I think is very interesting because Sega does like to make some video games. And Sega also does not necessarily get attached to making good Sonic games because they've never made one. So,
can be like me on that one, dog. It's true.
I mean, come at me. The best Sonic game ever made was not made by Sonic. It was made by whoever the people were that made Sonic Mania, which, by the way, free on PS Plus next month.
That's pretty exciting.
Probably the best family-friendly game on PS Plus in a long time. The other one is not so much family-friendly. Not so much family-friendly for the Handsome Collection, but I'm excited. Because I'm excited because I went to buy it, and now I don't have to. So I think Sonic is a thing. I think that could happen. Yeah. Oh, Miranda says shots fired. Absolutely shots fired. But I'm well known as not a big fan of Sonic, but I love Sonic Mania.
I'm not a big fan either.
Yeah, I mean, he was fine for what it was, but like, let's look back on the time and remember the bad games for being bad. But
I'd rather play Donkey Kong. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean, who wouldn't? Okay, so, but I think I would not be surprised if even at the Nintendo conference, Sega came out with a new Sonic game to go along with the movie or something. Maybe not to go along with it. I don't know. I think it makes. I don't know. All right, so enough about Sonic. What is Team Princess of Power / specifically Teala's prediction and not yours? Number 3.
All right, so for number 3, we are looking for either an update for Metroid, like an update on like what's going on with Metroid, or just a brand new announcement for a Metroid game.
Sure. I think that's possible also. Probably less so than Animal Crossing because they just started development. But you know how Final Fantasy VII Remake, they did that, like, they did just recently, they did like an announcement of like like they just came out again, right? So it's like they called a do-over.
Development studios.
Yeah, you know.
And Metroid switched development studios.
Exactly. So like
Maybe?
the only thing we knew, I think there's a lot of variables, obviously, but the only thing they told us about the game in the first place was a logo, and it wasn't even the real logo. It was just something made in MS Paint. You know what I mean? So like,
it's true though.
But it was just a logo. They made it that day. I mean, and whoever did it, it looked lovely. The 4 was beautiful. Okay. Oh well, Miranda catching up with us. 2018 was the last Kirby on Switch. Mm-hmm. So that was last year. So you're right.
Yeah, it was.
You
and then 2019 was a port for 3DS.
Yep. So thank you, Miranda. That was EFG. You're wrong. So I'll take it. Listen, I need help. So with Metroid, right? Like so this was actually my wife's prediction also. I asked her, she didn't have enough. And wasn't super invested in it. But she said, and this is her one prediction. She looks at me dead in the eye and goes, unfortunately, I think they're going to tell us something about Metroid. Because my wife despises Metroid. Specifically Metroid Prime. You haven't heard this story? I'm going to tell you this story. No, I'm going to tell you the story because you'll understand.
I probably will.
Everybody that's here, buckle up. We're going to take a walk. Imagine yourself, Amanda. You're my wife.
Okay.
You have walking pneumonia.
Of course.
It's the middle of the winter, so you're trapped in the house.
Because it's gross.
And we have our television. I'm playing Metroid Prime, the original one on the GameCube, the GCN as it were. Your loving but very stupid husband, has his best friend and his younger brother, who is kind of in his most annoying stage of his life. Because we're talking like right when this game came out. So it was when my brother was his most annoying, like mid-teens, etc.
Sure.
We had gotten through the whole game, ran right up on the final boss, and he destroyed us because we didn't have enough missiles. So we said, fine, easy fix. We're just going to go look for secrets. But this is before the internet was like super a big deal, so we did it the old-fashioned way.
This was before IGN wikis, you mean?
This is before IGN wikis or before I knew what a wiki was. So we did it the old-fashioned way. We played the game for 17 hours straight, passing the controllers.
Oh, fork.
Specifically what we did, because this was our strat, and it actually worked very well. We went to the very beginning of the game, and we thoroughly explored every room by going into the morph ball and repeatedly bombing everything. Which, I don't know if you know, but repeatedly morph bombing, when you have 3 people taking turns, you can basically do it for 17 hours straight without any problem. I thought she was asleep the whole time. Turns out she couldn't sleep, but she was being super nice because she didn't want to. But eventually she said, I want this game out of my house. Craig, I want you to take Steven's brother home. Steven, I want you to go away. And so I went with him.
Go away, so I'll miss you. That's a common refrain in our household.
Yeah. So ever since then, like, and that was Metroid Prime, the first one. So, like, I was barred from purchasing Metroid Prime 2 or 3. So, like, and I like Metroid. So when they put Super Metroid, she had never seen Super Metroid. They put Super Metroid on the SNES Classic. She was questioning whether or not that was allowed to come into the house.
She does need to be sainted. Miranda said, "Oh, geez, she needs to be sainted."
She does.
Probably.
I mean, it's true. At what point have I said that she doesn't put up with things? She puts up with a lot to be stuck buried into me. So that is why she does not like Metroid. Now, she recognizes that it is a popular franchise that people enjoy, people are hyped for. So she looks at me and she says, "Honey, unfortunately, I think they're going to tell you something about Metroid." So,
okay, well, that makes more sense now.
Yeah. I think the real barrier, though, is about an announcement. Because they could just throw it in a direct at any time.
Sure.
They could just do a Metroid announcement direct in August, and no one would even blink an eye. So the only way that it would fit into their E3, for me, would be if Retro took over the development, but they were using a bunch of the assets.
Which that might be the case, but I don't know. I don't have anybody on the inside there that can tell me either way.
Exactly. So if Retro is literally throwing everything out and starting over, then no, I don't think there's any possibility. But I think that's possible, that they might have just thrown everything out. Maybe concept art and stuff like that, but Nintendo's not one to do what EA did. Remember that one time where they just did a whole press conference of concept art?
Sure remember that.
Yeah, you sure remember that.
Went over well.
That was confusing. So Nintendo's not going to do that, I don't think. So it's really just a matter of, do they have the assets or not? Like, it's not enough time for them to come up with anything cool, except maybe a logo.
Yeah, I think that...
Unless they're reusing some of the assets.
This one I can safely talk about because I have no clue either way, because I haven't heard rumblings at all.
Okay.
The only thing that we covered over on Game Daily was that they switched developers. So...
Yeah. I mean, there's so many variables with that. And so it'll be interesting to see. Guess what the good news is? We're going to find out on June 10th when Nintendo does their thing. I will be in the EFG studio live reacting. So if you want to watch it with me...
I'll be live reacting to your live reacting.
Sure, you can be in the chat.
I'll be in the chat.
Be in the chat.
I'll be in the chat, and I'll be tweeting at the same time. It'll be amazing. We're gonna do it.
I will be live reacting every single one of the press conferences. So
I'm gonna be at all of the press conferences.
I know you're gonna love every minute of it. I'm supporting you. You may be by yourself, but you're not alone. That's my phrase. I use that all the time. That's the one hippy-dippy thing I say. You may be by yourself, but you're not alone. So, all right. So, prediction number 4 from the Princess of Power, very specifically not Amanda's, but Teala's predictions. But you're reading them because you have a lovely radio voice. I
am Teala's voice today. So, Teala's 4th prediction is hopefully a Mario Sunshine remaster.
I dig it. I would love that so much. Of all of the Mario games that would be so due to just take the Mario Odyssey bits and just do the thing, it's that game. I think it would sell like crazy. People really loved it, but a lot of people missed it because it was a long time ago, and there are a lot of kids that weren't alive then that would love to play a new Mario game. Also, they had the opportunity to, add Splatoon stuff to it. Like, why not remake it and then add some more stuff? Or use some of the Splatoon weapons? Could you imagine if they just decided to just make that gun, just instead of having him use that backpack, they just had him fight with Splatoon weapons? I mean,
thinking about it, that sounds amazing. I would play that. I actually didn't play Mario Sunshine.
Me either. Because it came out when I was thoroughly in my WoW phase.
I think that we were all thoroughly in our WoW phase.
Oh, that was
a thing.
I think
it's no longer allowed in my house. We have a hard ban on WoW here.
Oh, we got a bunch of people that are saying hi. So let me react to the chat a little bit. Jeff Meager is saying he'll be live reacting to his own live reacting. That's fair.
Jeff is my friend from Vancouver, so that's Jeff Mayer.
What's up, Jeff? And then Jason Levy says hi. What's up, man? Welcome to the EFG show. We're just doing some E3 predictions. Miranda has been here the whole time. Thank you, Miranda. Miranda is an EFG super fan. Has been since the beginning. one of our favorite people. So, okay, so that was prediction number 4. I would love it. I don't know that it's going to happen because they have given us no indication, but I would love that. What I would really love is if they would just, even if they just said, look, all the 3D Marios other than Odyssey, we're just going to slowly start to remake them. Redo Mario 64 in the Odyssey engine.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Remake Galaxy in the Odyssey engine, Galaxy 2. How much money? I mean, like, that's a lot of money where at least some of the design has already been done.
Put in.
Yeah.
It is. The interesting thing, though, is if with the remastering, I think we've written about it on Game Daily. It's an art. And it requires not as much money or time or even resources as a full game development project. But, I mean, as long as you've got the raw source, you can go in and update them graphics anytime. The difference is that if you're tweaking and retooling for modern gameplay, that's where things get a little bit persnickety.
Which is what Nintendo does. I mean, they don't leave stuff alone.
Absolutely.
So I respect
perfectionists.
that that's to say the least. I'm not saying it's easy. And no. I'm not, but what I am saying is New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe is one of the 10 best-selling Switch games of all time, and that's a port of a Wii U game.
Yep.
In an art style that basically nobody likes.
Also,
like, Mario 64 is on some people's lists as one of the best video games ever made. There are some people that are out there, and I think whether it's one of the best games of all time.
One of my favorites.
It's
I don't know
great.
if it's one of the best, but it's one of my favorites.
I will say this, it's probably one of the most influential games of all time because it figured out
absolutely.
We knew it was a thing when we made Mario run in a circle the first time. Like the first time I made Mario run in a circle.
Access.
Yeah, like wow, you just went all Canadian on me.
Wait, where? Who?
You said Zed.
I am speaking Queen's English. Thank you.
Thank you. So, I mean, I'm not saying it would be easy. Clearly, it would take a lot of resources and a lot of time. Maybe not infinity resources. A lot of money.
They'll make.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
It's the money.
That's the thing. They could sell all these games for $60. No one would question it.
No. I don't even think I would question it. I think I'd just like shell out my money and buy it.
And I think the Galaxy 1 and 2 probably don't need a huge amount. Just make them HD, polish them up a little bit, release them, done. Maybe make it one game. Just to make some of the, but don't, and we'll still buy it because I'm a slave. 64 would need a lot of polish, but I think it's doable. Same thing with Sunshine, but like just do it. I think Sunshine should just get remade from the ground up with Splatoon weapons. That is my wish list thing. I want to play that because it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense.
I want to see this game. Like I genuinely do. I think that sounds amazing.
Right? Like how about that for an elevator pitch? All right, so I think she had another prediction. Yeah, Nintendo, in case you were curious. She had another prediction, right?
She has one more prediction, but it is an after-hours prediction. So this is
that's fine.
The children go to sleep.
This is fine. One more for we do the segment we refer to it as one for the grown-ups. She got a grown-ups prediction.
What is that? We have a grown-ups prediction in here from Teala. Teala is hoping for Bloodborne 2.
She's very much hoping for Bloodborne 2. She loves Bloodborne. Victorian horror. I ain't think it's happening. I do not think it's happening. I think From Software makes a lot of video games. And they need to take a break eventually. They just finished Sekiro, and word on the street is they're doing some shenanigans with George R.R. Martin because obviously he's going to do everything he can to not write The Winds of Winter.
Never finish his books. Cool beans.
So whatever. So anyway, so that's one for the grown-ups. She's hoping for a little.
Her fingers are crossed.
So there we go. So those are her predictions. To give you just to tell you what my predictions were. Very quickly, I predicted that there will be amiibo support in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and I believe that there will be a Marvel character amiibo. I don't know which one, but I think there's going to be one. What else? You know what? I can't even remember the rest of them. They're buried.
That's
in the
okay. Don't worry about it. Fine.
So
We have
for
other
you
stuff
guys,
we got to talk about anyway.
yeah, we do. We do. I just love talking about predictions. And it's funny because what I'm really doing is trying to just throw stuff out there and trying to watch your eyes. That's all. I'm really not. That's
I
why
have my pup poker face.
That's what, oh my god. Also, it's worth noting I really did just throw out my most absolutely ridiculous prediction. I didn't throw out my softball one because I didn't want to be that guy. So let's go into the picture-in-picture machine and look at some articles from a certain website called Superparent.
I know that website.
You know that website.
I totally do.
Okay. So superparent.org, by the way, very great website covering a lot of the same things that I do, just better. So, let's see here. Oh, you know what? We got somebody agreeing with me. George Nybert here. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Says that that it makes too much sense to leave Amiibo out of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And let's see here. And your buddy Jeff says that the longer it takes George R.R. Martin to write, the longer he can make fan theorists write the endings for him.
I mean, I can't see the lie there. I really can't.
That's awesome. I have no investment in the Game of Thrones shows or movies. The only season I watched was the last one. So, like, nothing made sense. Spoilers. It's real weird to jump in at the end. Yeah, Miranda makes a really good point that Sony won't be there, so if Bloodborne 2 is announced, then that means it would not be a Sony exclusive unless From is just on the floor doing their own jam. Nice, and I pronounced his name right.
Nailed it.
Look at me, I did something right today. All right, so let's talk about Pokemans. So last night, they had the 2019 Pokemon press conference. Now, this is a thing that they normally have. However, historically, it's been like old school journalism. Like you send somebody and they go and then they like text everybody the announcements because it's not live streamed. They just do the thing.
It's old school and kind of great at the same time.
Old school. Well, this time they didn't do it. They decided they were going to live stream the event. And man, I think maybe they should have just paid for a bunch of press to go out because it was a wacky press conference.
It was a thing. It was a thing that happened.
So it was half hour long. Which is, I think it was a good length.
Because Nintendo never bandies words. Ever.
Yeah, no, they did not play around. It was just a very stuffy man in a Pokemon shirt and a very nice tie, standing in front of it, talking very seriously about how Pokemon was going to impact people's lives, etc., while standing behind a giant Pokeball. And so they made a bunch of announcements. Some of them made perfect sense and were slam dunks. And then we get to the end. So just to go through some of the quick announcements. First, they told us that we're going to get a follow-up to Detective Pikachu on the Switch.
Yes. I'm so excited about that. I love the movie.
Not only was that a great idea, but like also, duh.
Yeah. I mean, because they're starting to wind down 3DS support anyway. Mm-hmm. So
it makes sense to make Pokemon games on the Switch. Also, Pokemon offshoot games typically sell better than people think they do because if you say Pokemon on it, people will buy it.
People will buy it.
And
people actually really like Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, Detective Pikachu
was a fairly successful game.
Yeah, absolutely. It was well liked by fans and critics. It sold pretty well, right? And even if it didn't, this is going to sell like crazy because it's the built-in hype from the movie, and also it's on the Switch, and everything sells on the Switch for some reason. So I think that was brilliant.
Will call me when it's on the Switch.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the first thing. And then they told us about Pokemon Home, which is basically, tell me if I'm wrong, my interpretation of Pokemon Home is this is just an upgraded Pokemon Bank.
Yes. So what it will do is it'll allow you to do a one-way transfer from Pokemon Bank, which is on 3DS, over to Pokemon Home. Pokemon Go, which is the mobile app that everybody surprisingly still plays, including me. I caught a Mr. Mime in Europe, which was great.
Well, you needed that.
I needed to be in Europe, so I needed to get the Europe Pokemon. So anyway, then you can move your Pokemon Go Pokemon to Pokemon Home, and then you can transfer all of those to Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Pokemon Sword, and Pokemon Shield. Mm-hmm. That's the way that's supposed to go. Now, it's a two-way transfer from any of the Switch games back to home. But it is a one-way transfer from bank to home and from Pogo to home.
And I think that's okay. But and they also talked about how this thing's going to have. Welcome to all of the new viewers, by the way. We just bumped up by a whole bunch. Hey, everybody. Someone must have shared this somewhere. So hey, thanks for joining.
Me.
Oh, well, good. Thanks. Someone did something. So the fact that they're going to add trading. I love the idea, right, of rolling in to, your boy Jeff needs Pokemon Go friends.
On Pokemon Go.
So
Jeff.
The idea of adding in trading and giving me a place like on my mobile phone, and they said it's going to be on Switch too, right?
Yep.
Like giving me a place to like manage my Pokemon collection on my mobile. It makes perfect sense. I mean, I'm sure that they had it on a whiteboard somewhere to move Pokemon Bank off of 3DS and onto mobile eventually. But they had so much more that they could do, like what they're doing, than just having it be like an old list and a spreadsheet. So now I bet you, some of the graphical flourishes, some of those cute little touches. I mean, who knows? We might even be able to see our Pokemon walking around in like a house, a la like Nintendogs or some stuff. Who the heck knows?
Nintendogs.
Yeah, or little friends, dogs and cats. Which, by the way, can I just say how happy I am? They have textures inside their mouths. Yes.
It's actually it's a particularly well done game.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that.
It's no business being as good as it is, but it is a particularly well done game.
I know, we're totally, we're going to have a review discussion with my daughter about that later on this week. But she absolutely loved it. So, yeah, Miranda saying, if you go to the Engage Family Gaming community page, you can go there by going to engagefamilygaming.com/community and add your code there. We have a ton of active Pokemon Go players. I know for certain that the man behind the curtain, our podcast producer, will send you gifts constantly if you are his friend. He yells at me all the time.
Gifts constantly.
Anyway, so I think Pokemon Home was a perfect announcement. It was kind of inevitable, but I like and I think it's a good name for it. Mm-hmm. Then things kind of got a little weird. Now, I was expecting like a Pokemon card expansion. That's what I was expecting. I went in looking for a Pokemon card expansion, maybe a mobile version of the Pokemon card game, a la Hearthstone or Arena or something like that.
Sure.
Nope.
It went kind of off the rails there, didn't it?
Kind of off the rails isn't even the right word.
Super off the rails?
I mean, Omega off the rails. Sorry, boyo. That was my dog. He was mad. When you're 5 pounds, that's your ferocious sound. So the game, or rather the app, because I can't really call it a game, can I? The game that they told us about, the app that they told us about is Pokemon Sleep. Okay.
Games that you don't need to, like, this is such a fascinating announcement. It was such a weird thing to hear popping up on Twitter, having people react to it, because it's like, what? This is like a wearable that I just put on, like the Pokemon Go Plus, but it's the Plus, and wait, what?
Yeah.
It was really confusing.
I was super confused at first. The Pokeball Plus. The joke we made before we started recording the podcast last night is that I was absolutely convinced that they were talking to the Kingdom Hearts team when they were naming that. Like they were hanging out at GDC with the people working on Kingdom Hearts and
hanging
Nintendo.
Out with Nomura or something.
And they were just like, just call it Pokemon Go, Pokeball Plus. And the Nintendo guys were like, you can't do that. And he's like, look at the games I've made. And he's like, your alternative is like Pokeball 358/2 plus. And they went, yeah, fine, plus works.
Dream drop distance,
which would be super funny if they did a crossover between Dream Drop Distance and Pokemon Sleep, because they're both, never mind. So
that's a lot. That's
a lot. That's just a lot. That's a lot. So Michael Melkonian came in trying to talk about Death Stranding. We'll talk about Death Stranding on like my personal Facebook wall. That's a little bit inappropriate for family gaming. I suspect that game will be rated M for mature. I don't know.
It's going to be rated at least 2 M's.
M times 5. It does look cool, and I'm going to buy it, whereas before today I wasn't going to, but now I feel like I have to. I don't know why. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. That's for another time.
Yeah, that's one for the grown-ups. So Pokemon Sleep is the elevator pitch is it's Pokemon Go, only instead of gaining benefit for your Pokemon while you walk, it is Pokemon Go where you gain benefit for your Pokemon while you sleep.
There it is.
Now, I actually talked to Max Davey, who is one of the authors of the Screen Time Guidance in the UK. And he actually had a real theory about, and so this is something that didn't make it into his literature, but he talked about the importance of sleep, specifically in children, because his theory is that it's possible that there's that a lack of sleep could impact not only just attention and but it could be that it can even impact things like BMI and weight and like all sorts of stuff. Like sleep is super important. So we can find, so if somehow gamifying sleep means that kids will like go to bed, which I don't know that that's actually going to happen.
Or check it out. Even grown-ups.
No,
go to bed.
See, I have a CPAP machine that gamifies sleep for me. If I sleep for the appropriate amount of time, I wake up and it gives me a happy face.
It gives you a smiley face? Yeah, Mike does too.
Face. And if I don't do it, it gives me a red frowny face.
Yeah, you gotta get that happy face.
Gotta get the happy face. So I don't necessarily need Pokemans for that, but Miranda is right. It is rough for folks that have actual insomnia. I mean, this is one of those, they can't get everything perfect, but the idea is, I last night when they announced it, I wasn't mad. I was bewildered. I was like, this just seems weird. But then I slept on it.
But.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I was feeling the same way because I'm like, what are we going to do with this thing? And because you and I talked about this a little bit before the podcast started, before we went live, I'm fascinated by the potential angle about them taking their health app. So Nintendo was working on a bunch of like health art. They put a bunch of research and development dollars into improving health. You know, Nintendo wanted to be on the forefront of ensuring that video games were going to augment a person's life in every imaginable way, including by monitoring and encouraging good, healthy habits. So Pokemon Go was the first way that we saw them really diving into that by encouraging you to get outside, to go take a walk, to go connect with people, and to catch Pokemon along the way.
Yep.
They reward you, that you can hatch your eggs in there, you can... like any number of things, and it's great. You can earn candy, and it's lovely. So Pokemon Sleep is an iteration of that. From my perspective, that's what it feels like. And that's going to allow them to, help encourage those healthy habits for sleep as well. Because like you said, I mean, sleep is one of the most important things for your personal health in general, right? You have your oral health, so that's why we go see the dentist. And we need to also be focusing on our sleep health, which is incredibly important, because if you don't sleep, your cortisol levels usually skyrocket, and that's your stress hormone, and that's what triggers weight gain and stuff like that. And then you're like perpetually in fight or flight mode, which sucks. Yeah. So that's kind of my theory on this. My theory, and like our shared theory, I think, is that this is Nintendo making good on those like R&D dollars that they threw together a number of years ago and didn't really do anything with.
Yeah, like they shut down the program, but
they did.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that they literally just put everything into a dumpster and burned it.
This isn't ET.
So
desert.
Miranda asked, how are they tracking your sleeping? Like a Fitbit. So far, they haven't announced it.
No,
I am
haven't.
presuming, outside of another announcement they made, which is the Pokeball Plus, which will work like the Pokeball Plus that was released alongside Pokemon Go, like the little pin thing that you can wear. It will work like that, but it will also work as like a sleep tracker. So you could put it on your bed next to you, and it'll detect whether or not you're sleeping. I'm sure that there are folks that will, kind of game that system and just, put it on their bed and turn it on and then like leave. But whatever. I mean, there are ways to track that. Also, like my phone knows when I am asleep if I am near it. So tracking sleep is not impossible. You just have to have a device that has, that has like a, what's the word? That senses motion.
It's got to have a shoot. It has something to do with velocity. Give me a second. Continue.
Yeah, thank you. So it needs one of those. And as long as you have one of those, because in general, when you sleep, you don't move constantly. Like you might move suddenly, and programmers have figured out how to tell if you are sleeping or if you are awake and tossing and turning, because ideally your body slows down. Now, obviously, there's some folks that are restless sleepers, etc. This will not work for everyone. An accelerometer, thank you.
Yes, there
Jeff.
We go.
I knew
Jeff knows what's up.
You brought this guy on for a reason, basically to make it so that I don't sound like a complete fool. Thank you, buddy. So
Jeff's great.
Okay, so. Yeah, exactly. So, there are ways that they can identify what's going on. Not all of them are perfect, obviously, but there's enough to make it work for a video game. And I think you're right. This is a great way for them to just not throw the development dollars away, because they worked on this with at least a small team for a while, enough that it was mentioned in earnings reports, and they brought it up. They brought it up at least. I mean, they brought it up at the E3 where they announced the Wii U, right? Or was it even before that?
No, it was at the E3 with the Wii U. Yep.
So this is forever. And so
there was years. Yeah, that's forever ago.
So they've been at least a small team's been working on it. I think this is a great way to use it, and I actually think it could be kind of neat. The other angle on this one is Niantic can't make Pokemon Go any more Pokemon Go. Right?
No.
Like, at this point, it is what it is. They can add new Pokemon to it, and guess what? Good news. They add new Pokemon. They can give it new outfit. They can add new outfits. They can upgrade things. They can do events, and they will continue to do that. But they can't engage people any more than they already do. So, I think adding a different app that maybe will interact with Pokemon Go, but isn't Pokemon Go, that is a different activity. Because I think a lot of people have already worked Pokemon Go into their life, right?
It's a part of the routine now.
And so for them, that's just what they do. And there's a huge audience for that, bigger than any of us would have ever predicted when they told us this app was coming out. But they can't juice them anymore without being ethically inappropriate, right? Like, they obviously could, make everything harder, add in more microtransactions, whatever. But adding a different game that'd be like, hey, this is similar. That's a way to reach that super core, I've changed my life for Pokemon audience, and it's just a different game. So it's less of a, So I think that from that angle, I think that's pretty cool too. I am very curious to see what's happening. They said a 2020 announce date. Which is, it sounds like it's a million years from now, but it's in just a little bit more than 6 months.
Yep.
How weird is that? We're going to live in the future. We did get some comments. Miranda said, it's also awesome for kids. Like you said, I never wanted to sleep and mom always fought me. Had I had this, I might have slept more. And with me, sleep deprivation was dangerous because of epilepsy. So yeah, I mean, if for nothing else, tricking your children into sleeping because they don't know that they don't know that
huge.
Sleep is a big problem. And
no, like Vivian, my youngest daughter, she never wants to sleep. She hates sleeping, and I'm 99% sure that Blondie McGee just is like one bad science experiment away from being a supervillain. So whatever I can do to get her to sleep more, probably a good thing.
When in doubt, like we trick our kids to do their homework and do their chores, like.
It's like hiding broccoli, right?
Trick. Yeah, right? How many people do we know put sweet potatoes in their meatloaf? I know they were talking about it at work today.
I have legit never heard of that in my life. That must be an American thing.
Do you know what meatloaf is?
Yes.
Okay, dude, I don't know if that was an American thing.
No, I make meatloaf. No, I mean putting sweet potatoes in meatloaf.
I had never heard of it today, too. I had never heard of it until today. My boss was talking about it. And I was like, why would you do that? That just seems rude. That just
That
seems
does
rude.
seem rude. Thank you.
That seems rude.
That's just like it's just ruining.
okay.
It's like, why would you ruin your meatloaf?
Maybe it's not an American thing. Maybe it's just a
Maybe it's
bad
just-
thing because I had never heard of it. But people definitely hide vegetables in their meatloaf.
Yes, absolutely. I definitely hide vegetables in my meatloaf. Of
course you do.
And by hide, I mean appropriately placed.
That was spoken like a true mom. You just like 100% mommed me. And that's okay. Could be worse. So, what the only other thing they really announced was, because they went on and on and on about the Pokemon sleep thing, is they talked about the Pokemon shirts, which I know a lot of people were giving them crap for, but because this is old news. I'm like, no, it is not old news because it was Japan only, and now you can get those lovely shirts.
That's the Uniqlo, right?
Yeah, no. Literally, if you go look for it, Pokemon shirts, they are designer dress shirts. There's one for every of the original.
This.
Yeah, every one of the original 150 Pokemon has their own special fabric, and you can get a button-up dress shirt. I will be buying at least 2, because I need.
I'm gonna have to purchase for the menfolk in the household.
Sure. I am sure that you would look fine in one of these shirts. Also, I'm just saying. But
I do enjoy menswear.
I mean, the button-up dress shirt looks nice. So they are. So yeah, this was like at the end, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is old news." I
totally missed that.
We already know about Pokemon shirts, blah blah. And I was like, "But do you know how much it is to ship a shirt from Japan? It was expensive. I looked." Now they're going to distribute. Now they're going to distribute them in the United States, possibly through Amazon. Like, please.
Girl, what? Amazing.
That's so maybe not, but even if they don't, like the shipping will be cheaper because you're not shipping it across an ocean. Your boy Jeff says that he would take a ditto.
That's somewhat. That does not surprise me.
I don't know if I can deal with that after things. So, yeah, right. Amanda saying the Pokemon shirts. You know what? Let's just do this. I have the internet. By the way, the only other news is that sleeping Snorlax is in Pokemon Go right now.
Yes.
So if you
we wrote about that on the Super Parents. So if you want more info on the Snorlax.
When in doubt, though, well, number one, go to Super Parents, subscribe to them, like them on Facebook, etc. I will share from them later. But let me get to the Pokemon Shirts website. The problem is because of all right, here we go. I think I found them. Here we go.
The only trick is, are they size inclusive?
Oh, by the way, they have women's shirts.
Oh. Good old darted Oxfords.
Okay. Do I know if they are size inclusive? I don't know. I've never heard that phrase before.
So I mean, like larger than a size large.
Yeah.
That's size inclusive.
That makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna hit a button and look. Let's do this together,
let's
everybody.
Experiment.
So I'm gonna look for a men's casual shirt. XXL is too small for me, but whatever. I don't have to wear it buttoned, I guess. Let's see here. We got we have a Carly saying, "There you go." Is that one of your friends?
Oh, yeah. She's one of my oldest friends, believe it or not.
Hi, Carly. Welcome to the EFG
Carly's
show.
Great. Hi, Carly.
Thank you for
hanging
following.
out.
Thank you for following
that
Amanda
is size
Slate.
inclusive.
Oh, that's great.
That's great. So they have a pretty full range of sizes, so all the way down to extra small. That's lovely.
So, all right. So the base.
Oh, and you could choose collars. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. This is insane. So, I'm gonna make a. Let's see here. I want to make a Psyduck shirt.
Psyduck.
Because he was one of the original 150, right? Yeah, he was.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see here. Now the issue is this shirt is $100, so maybe I'll only get one, but it'll look nice.
Consider it an investment piece.
Yeah, that's what I'll tell my wife.
You just.
Honey, I need $100 Pokemon shirt.
She can come talk to me. It's an investment piece. You'll look really handsome in it.
I mean that's awfully nice of you. You told me at the top of the show you were a good actor. That's proof.
Wow.
Oh come on, that was good. That was good. Okay, the Licky Tongue one looks like from the Rolling Stone.
I'm into it. 10 out of 10.
Oh my god, I don't think I could rock that.
Those are all very much.
Oh, Miranda says, I need to be able to review it, and to do that, I need to buy one. Look at
Oh,
her.
goodness.
She's so smart. I still don't know that would work.
These are
but
great, though. I love all of these. I love all of these options. Oh my goodness, look at that.
Okay, this one
Is
looks
that
kind of nice. The Licky Tongue one looks good. I got one, the Victory Bell on the, which.
Oh my goodness.
This one
These
looks
are
pretty
all
rad.
gorgeous. I love them.
Oh, the Weeping Bell. My bad. Victory Bell is the next one. Honestly, the Victory Bell's not even that bad either.
That's really great.
This one looks like just a regular plaid shirt.
I'm into that. That's
this
good.
is one of those, like, you could wear it and they won't know that it's a Pokemon shirt.
That you're a big nerd.
They just wouldn't know that I'm a big old dork.
That's fine. I just want everybody to know I'm a big nerd, so.
Who is this, though?
I don't know.
Who is this? I'm so confused. Maybe it's just a pattern, because some of them, there's one that's just all Pokeballs, so it could be that it's just. I'm not finding the Psyduck one, but man, these are really nice. Oh, the Sandshrew one. The Sandshrew one, yo. That one's nice. These are some nice shirts. All right, so I'm going to choose the Sandshrew one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I'm applying that. It's got Sandshrew butts on it. So I'm fine with that. So now we're going to go to the style. Oh, crap, I lost it.
Yeah, good old Doug Trio.
All right, so I'm going to, the Sandshrew. All right, let's see.
Oh my goodness, I love it. That Sandshrew is fantastic.
Isn't it good? I can't get it to save, though. But think about all the stuff that you can change. All right, so you can customize the outer collar, the inner collar, the cuffs, the inside of the cuffs, the pocket, and the outer. I don't know what is that the middle, like the placket. Is that where the buttons are?
That's where the buttons are.
Thank you. So I could have this pattern then make everything else white.
Yeah,
or something like that. That's really nice.
This is like eShakti for dress shirts. Absolutely. I use eShakti all the time.
The eShakti has like fully infiltrated the Northeast LARP community, which, by the way, I think you would get along with almost all of them. You live like next door. You should come to a LARP sometime.
I've never LARPed.
You should come LARP with me.
I haven't LARPed since I was a teenager. Let me just say that.
Come LARP with me. I will totally LARP with you.
It's a good discussion for another day because I'm getting hungry. I haven't eaten dinner yet. So.
Okay. So yeah, guys, I think that. So that's the big news.
That's brilliant. I love it.
So
I missed that.
I don't know. Well, you know what? It was kind of at the end, so you might have been kind of overwhelmed.
Because I must have just been like, all right, peace. We're done after sleep because I can't handle anymore.
Yeah.
That's great though. I love that. I absolutely adore subtle geek fashion. It just makes me so happy.
Yeah, me too.
It really, really does.
Okay, everybody. So
just my big beat.
Amanda needs to go eat dinner.
I need sustenance.
And so do I.
In my body.
And she's on the East Coast, which means it's almost 8 o'clock at night. So I'm sorry. But thank you, Amanda, for joining me for the EFG show. We'll have to do this again sometime. If for nothing else, because that way you'll share it on your Facebook wall or something, and everyone will come. All of your friends will come. Everyone who is listening, who was brought here by Amanda's, siren song, thank you. If you enjoyed what I did and are willing to watch me do it without Amanda, just like us on engagefamilygaming.com/Facebook or facebook.com/engagefamilygaming. Join our community, engagefamilygaming.com/community. Believe it or not, Amanda's actually in there too.
I love it.
Because she's part of the team. So everyone, this has been the EFG show. Thank you very much for coming. I got the EFG Daily Commute tomorrow, and we got the big EFG E3 prediction show that's going to even include a little bit of this clipped out of it coming live on Friday. So, everyone, I will see you I think I'll see you Sunday for a Sunday night unboxing. Until next time, don't forget to get your family game on. We'll see you soon, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Engage, a family gaming podcast.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening Tune in next week.